Welcome to the Notorious Scoundrels, a Star Wars Legion podcast bringing you the latest news, general perspective, and competitive discussion.
Hello and welcome back to the Notorious Scoundrels podcast. I'm Kyle. I'm here with Jay and Tim. What's up, gentlemen?
Yo, yo, yo.
Well, hello, everybody. We're back from, you guessed it, Adepticon.
That's right.
And guess what we're going to talk about? Adepticon.
Yep,
Because what else is there to talk about?
There's actually a lot, but Adepticon seems to be the most timely. So we're going to do that this week.
Yeah.
We did get a bunch of previews, many of them just miniatures, but still exciting from the AMG panel on Sunday. We are not going to talk about those today. We're going to talk about them next week. So
Take that.
if you're here for that, you should still listen to this episode, but we won't have that today. So
I will say that based on the leaks or previews, whatever you want to call them, that we got at Adepticon, my excitement and commitment to Ewoks has only grown by leaps and bounds. And I'm pretty sure they stole that one pip card from me, because that was exactly my idea, almost to the Dyson impact level. So I'm gonna have to go back and listen to the podcast.
the log trap thing.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure it was almost exactly what I said it should be. So hey, AMG, if you're listening, thanks. I don't even care that you took it from me. I'm just happy that it's in there. And I'm gonna play Ewoks. I mean, it's got an ATST in it. Like, this is a no-brainer. Kill Bears and an ATST. Yeah, I'm in 1000%.
Seems good.
And C3PO could be my Lord and Savior. Yup. Anyways, that's it. That's our little teaser for next week.
There you go.
I'll be going full ham on this next week. I'm so excited.
I wish they'd shown us like the normal Ewok unit cards.
Yeah.
Just randomly, but whatever. We'll get that eventually. It's May, right?
I believe so. I mean, they're not even up for pre-order yet, so I don't.
It's supposed to be May,
right?
Because that's the Return of the Jedi anniversary.
Based on how releases have been, I would guess probably in the next week or so, 2 weeks, we should get a pre-orders for that stuff. Yeah, because the problem is, so like Asmodee, just so everybody knows, they don't, like, as a retailer, they don't send me a note. They're like, yo, this stuff's available now. I generally have to find somebody from the community, like, tags me and goes, hey, these are up now, because it's like, because they're checking. I don't have time to check all the time, but so keep tagging me in those, hey, this is up. So
I'm gonna be, if they're any good, I'm gonna be all in on them too.
I don't even care if they're good.
I do, but yeah, I get where you're coming from.
You and I have much different end goals to this.
Dude, I'm super focused this after Adepticon. It's we can talk about it. But,
yeah, we should.
Yeah. All right, let's just launch into it.
Okay.
Do you want to do housekeeping first?
Patreon. Support us on Patreon. We've got some really, really exciting announcements coming up in the next couple weeks in regards to content. And Patreon's the way to support it, and you're going to want to support it even harder. So yeah, Patreon, support us on there. We're back to After Darks. We've been a little behind on those, but I'm actually doing international After Darks now. So I've got Lugas from Germany, AJ from England. I'm really excited about that. Get different perspectives. That's all on our After Dark podcast, which is on Patreon. And then the only other thing we did this past Wednesday, and you can get the audio or video on any of our channels, is I did a Fifth Tile podcast with Tim France from the Professional Casual Network, and we did our reactions to Shatterpoint. So if you want to hear what I thought about Shatterpoint, I did a demo. Tim did a couple demos, and we kind of just like walked through our recollections and demo of that. My real quick takeaway, if you guys don't want to listen to that, is it's not replacing Legion, so don't even worry about it. Like, as soon as I was one of those people that was absolutely worried about that, but as soon as I sat down and played the game, I go, oh, this is something completely different. This is not replacing Legion.
It seems way more likely I mean, minis gaming is not a zero-sum game, but to the extent that it's going to like take people's time, it's probably going to take them from MCP.
Yes,
Yeah.
I
It's
would
far
agree.
more similar to that.
Yep, I would agree with that.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that.
No, me neither.
Looks interesting.
Mm,
Probably not my speed, but it does look fun.
Yeah, you guys can get go to the 5th tile, listen to that. You'll get
Yep,
all my
listen to that.
reactions.
We will also I believe we'll have an article on it also on the site.
Probably.
80% chance.
Yeah, I definitely think I don't want to make any promises to our audience, but it's something I would like us to cover.
Yeah.
So I think we will. It's just building a team that's going to do that. So we definitely it's worthy of us covering it for sure. So
Yep. All right. Shall we?
Let's do it.
Sure.
Come on, Jay. It's the World Championships.
I'm sorry. I've talked a lot about it this week. And so for you guys, you see that this is released on Friday. I was driving back Monday, like we all had to reset. So I'm already like 4 or 5 days into this week, and I already talked about like Adepticon till my brain exploded. So I'm gonna try to be excited here. I'll ramp it up, I promise. But go ahead, Kyle. You can start.
I am very excited for several reasons. I want to just say in general, I was feeling a little burnt out, like kind of going into Adepticon.
Yeah, for sure.
The meta is kind of stale. Some parts of the new rules, as we've talked about,
or so we thought. Wink.
Are a bit cumbersome / unfun.
Cumbersome change is great.
That part, yes. I didn't use that word intentionally, but yeah, that one's good. I really liked the new climb rules. The pass mechanics great. It's really just the cover line of sight stuff.
Just cover.
Yeah. Other than that, how was the play, Mrs. Lincoln? Yeah. But after Adepticon, I'm actually feeling really energized. It was great it really felt like a true World Championships.
Yeah.
It was great to meet all the players from all the other countries. There was a huge contingent from Germany there, obviously the UK, Spain, Italy, Canada, Australia, Argentina, yep.
Chile,
the Netherlands.
Netherlands, yep. Poland, yeah.
I think there was
at least one person there from Norway and or Sweden, yep.
Canada was definitely represented.
Yep.
Woo.
Yep. So yeah, even just going through, I should say also, we're not going to cover in detail the top 8 on this cast because we did an article on it. So if you want to read everything about the top 8, you can just go read Evan's article on it. Tim's article is the one I'm currently editing for Against Slip. But yes, Evan Paul wrote an article on the top 8, and he's got all the flags and stuff in there from the various players that even just made the top 8. And I think there's like 6 different flags in there. So yeah, it's great. It felt like the World Championships. It was great to meet all these people that you've been interacting with online.
Yeah.
Over the last 4 years, just in person.
Yeah, like really this time. Like we always say that, right? And I think these big events, we always meet a bunch of people, but they're always generally Americans. And it's just this was like, dude, I was running the game. We had Game Uplink had a booth there, and like all the people from around the world kept coming over to the booth because they wanted to buy things from me that I didn't have for sale there. But I was I did bring a bunch of freebies. I think I handed out like 15 of the like faction sidebars to like all the people from around the world, and they were like, oh my god, really? I'm like, yeah, man, like take it, go run. But yeah, it was like it was crazy, and it felt for the first time since we've been playing. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Like everyone I've ever talked to seemed to be there, and like from everywhere. Like it was crazy.
Yeah, and it just had like. Sorry, go ahead.
It was very fun being at a dinner with Americans, Brits, and Australians. As being the only Canadian there, I get to do the cultural translation between words, such as "what a pudding is."
Yeah, what is that? I was reading that in your article, and I was like, I need Tim to explain this to me.
So to the North Americans, a pudding is like yogurt, but not yogurt.
Oh,
Yeah, it's in a little plastic cup.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about here.
I
Yeah,
like
Okay.
I like British pudding is like no, more like cake.
Yeah.
It's like pastry in a like it's like still in a bowl, but it's like bread. It's more like bread or cake. It's not liquid. It might be like you might be able to eat it with a spoon, but it's not liquid.
Yeah,
But it was
like Kyle, you ever had a bread pudding, like a
Yeah.
French toast bread?
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
a,
pudding.
when you say pudding in the UK, that's what you mean.
Okay.
So, but it's always very fun to the honorable Canadian duty of being one foot in both doors and being like, okay,
Hmm.
this is what you mean. This is
Oh,
what you mean.
who was I talk? Oh, AJ. I was talking to this about AJ. Like we were talking about driving, right? And like I put a meme in our thing, and like where like
Yep.
they're like, how long was the drive? I'm like 11 hours, and they like all the Europeans were just like what? I was like, yeah, it was fine. And they're like, you just said that like it was 30 minutes. And I was like, but I was telling them, I was like, yeah, I mean, I could drive for like 30 hours straight and I would still be in the US. Except if I went north and then like 45 minutes I'm in Canada. And I mean, it's kind of like a mix between Europe and the US, like
Mm.
not just culturally and the way you guys talk and stuff, but also like your measurement system, you've just adopted both. And so, like some things you guys use metric, some things it's feet and
So
pounds, and yeah,
I mean, through engineering school, it's always funny because like engineering from the world uses only metric, strictly metric. But in Canada, we have to do both because all construction in North America is in imperial.
Yep.
So he was like, "Yeah, I get my tests, and like half the questions are all the imperial measurements, and half the questions are the metric measurements."
yeah.
That sounds horrible.
Man.
Oh,
is.
it's the curse of being Canadian.
Yep. But yeah, it was great meeting everybody. There was like this buzz around just with everybody being there. The stream was great. David did a great job with the stream. The setup was incredible. I got one game streamed, which I'm sure we'll get to, but they even had like an anti-fatigue mat up there, and
Yep.
it's like they had custom acrylic tokens for you to use. And
What's
not custom, they were official tokens.
what's Seth's podcast?
Oh, Bombad Generals?
Bombardier Generals or whatever.
Bombad
Yes,
Generals,
Seth
yeah.
and Matt Bronson. Yeah,
Yeah,
Bombad
they
Generals.
they helped a lot with the stream and get
Well,
that.
and then,
I want to make sure they get the credit
and
too.
Zane too.
And
Oh,
Zane. I said this on our After Dark podcast. I will say this here. Zane is one of the best community members that we have in all of Legion. He literally came to Adepticon with a broken foot and just helped David do the stream. Then on Friday, helped me do the live Q&A for Dungeons and Dragons Onslaught, and like just helped. He literally paid to come work.
Yep.
Is what he did for the love of this community. So if you see Zane Hot and Frosty on Discord, dude, he is one of the pillars of this community, keeping it up, and you guys should all thank him.
Yep. And he helped me practice before. He actually currently is local to me. And Mike and I wanted to do like a practice night. He's like, hey, you guys can come, to my place and we'll practice. Like, tell me what you want me and the other guys to play and we'll do it. And it's like, okay, like, yeah, all right, sounds good. Like,
shout out
it's
to
great.
Zane.
Yep.
Awesome. And obviously the judge staff, the organizers, great job too. Tons of work. Putting on an event like this. There was a ton of prize support, so
there was a lot of tables.
There was a lot of tables. Yeah.
So I just want to because I was part of this. So Hank, who runs Adepticon, he really wanted to like go all out with the tables. So they spent tons of money, hours, time. He like brought airbrushers into his like place to like paint all those tables. Then also Nick Bodnar from Legion 99, he brought his 30 tables, and I brought 8 and some change because I brought some other stuff. And so like it was a real like amazing thing putting together all those tables. Adepticon did a wonderful, amazing job. And then also connecting everybody to get all those tables in. And so, dude, the tables were amazing. And I think Brad and team did a great job setting them up. And like, they really put in a lot of time and effort into making sure those tables were really good.
Yep.
I mean, I'm sure other people may have had different experiences, but like the 7 games I played, I did not play on a table that I, one, did not think was fair, and 2, just didn't like I enjoyed it all, right? Like some were light, so not light, but lighter, some were heavier, but they were all fair and they were all fun to play on. So
yeah, and they were all different, right?
Yeah.
Like that,
Oh,
that's the whole idea. And I know that there was some pictures that went up early that like were complaining about the tables at Adepticon. I'm like, they did not take pictures of the tables fully set up, and that is a real shame because they were amazing tables, and I think really balanced for 99% of them.
Yep. I did have one table that was kind of a pain with line of sight and cover calls. It was one of those tables that had a lot of buildings on it, but none of the buildings had like a straight
yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
So I think I had like 7 or 8 cover line of sight calls just in that game alone, which is like more than historically I've had in most tournaments. I can't think of any tournament where I've had that many judge calls. But other than that one table,
yeah,
it was great.
Somebody was jokingly complaining about my Jetta table, and I go, you know what? With my Jetta table, you know what problem you don't have? Line of sight or cover calls, because
all the edges are perfectly straight.
It's all tall buildings. Like,
yep.
It's pretty darn clear exactly what's going on with those. But yeah, no, I know people over the years have always kind of complained about that table because it's really dense, because it's like supposed to simulate like an urban city. But my answer is always the same. But like, this isn't 40K, dog. Like, not every table is going to be the same. Sorry. Like, we have different environments and planets and cool places that we want to go. And so we're going to go there, and you should be prepared to fight your battles on all kinds of different terrain. Sorry. That's my answer to that.
Yeah. And they're all still fairly balanced, I would say.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of variety, but in a way that's balanced. Like you don't need a 40K style template where every table is identical to have terrain balance.
Right.
I mean, maybe you do for 40K, but at least Legion you don't. So
and a lot of tables too had good like choices about whether you pick blue or red. Like there was a lot of tables had like, like one side was maybe like, 2 or 3% better, right? Quote unquote. But even some people would disagree about like which side was better on tables, right? Which is the right mix to have.
That's what you should. Yeah. It should be like not super clear which side is better.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was great. The games were all great. My opponents were all great. So yeah, I don't know. I'm feeling energized. I'm also typically energized by failure.
Well, that's good.
I know. Yes. I got home on Sunday. Jay asked me, we were out to dinner on Saturday night because my parents live in Chicago, and I brought my wife and kids. And I stayed with my parents. And Jay's like, so are you sleeping in the hotel tonight? Or are you going home to see your kids? And I'm like, I'm sleeping in the hotel. Like, and he gives me this look like I'm crazy.
I mean, to be fair, my wife was sitting right next to me. So
yeah. Well, she was gracious. She graciously was like, trying to like, she was like, oh yeah, you don't want to do that, like the kids are going to be all wired, you're going to interrupt the bedtime process, like
you'll interrupt everything,
you're doing them a favor,
yeah she's just trying to make you feel better about
and
I'm
like yeah thanks yeah but no, but I went and I actually got them Sunday morning to bring them to the convention because I wanted them to see it.
Oh, that was probably my favorite day of the whole convention.
Yeah.
So me dragging my kids around had a real good party.
Yeah, we did. Or you did.
Yeah.
We went over to the Game Uplink booth, and my son Dashiell just grabbed a bag, one of the purple Game Uplink bags. Like, I don't know if you put this idea in his head or he just spontaneously did it, but he was a bag robot, and they started like chopping things. Jay was also a bag robot. He was a bag robot for at least 24 hours after that. So thanks, Jay.
Dude, it was so funny. Rachel and I were talking about that on the way home because our kids are older, and so like I just saw that like distant dead look in Kyle's eyes. It's like me and his son are going, "We are back, robots," and we're like chopping people and tables and like
yeah, because that look says like, Jay, this gets to end for you when we leave. But not for me.
It didn't even end like you wanted it to end like 5 or 10 times. Like he kept going, he kept doing the Midwestern. Well, okay. I'm like, no.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, we're gonna keep going. Yeah.
But anyway, I get home and my daughter's like, Daddy, did you lose? And I'm like, yes, sweetie, I did. And it was the most like matter of fact, innocent, childlike question. And it's like, yes, I lost. But
did you tell her you lost to a pink list?
I did not. No. Although I'm sure she would have thought that was great. Yeah, I guess if you're gonna lose, do it in the most dramatic fashion possible, right? Everybody told me that was watching the stream that was like one of the craziest games they've ever seen. So it was crazy living it.
Yep. I went back and watched that game, and it was like, oh, they're dead. Oh, they're dead. Oh, they're dead.
Yeah. I've never lost. I don't think I've ever lost so many activations in such a short period of time. I think I lost like 6 activations on the last 2 turns.
It was 5 or 6, yeah. And like at the end of a turn, in the beginning of another. Like it wasn't even like over 2 full turns. It was like within the span of like like going back and forth like 10 times. It was like 5 or 6 activations.
Yeah, it was quite a swing. Yeah, I mean, I can talk in as much detail as you want about this game, but props to Lila Claire. She brought a crazy Black Sun list from the UK.
Yeah.
And it was only 8 activations. It had the bus, mall, 5 of the like fully loaded Black Sun with the grenades and the Vigo and frag grenades and everything. And then one, like, she called it her suicide squad, but basically like just a Courage 1 Black Sun in the bus.
Yeah.
Which actually is what kind of derailed my game plan, because they jumped out of the bus immediately died, but then they did 3 wounds to Vader, and then they immediately died, but then I had 3 wounds on Vader, and I'm like,
yeah,
usually when I do it was hemmed in breakthrough, and usually when I do like a breakthrough toilet bowl, Vader's kind of like my goalkeeper, my stalling unit, so I'll keep him like near my zone or like in between the 2 zones, and then just start hacking up opposing units, and he can usually kill at least 2 things, which is like a net, even if he doesn't score or he dies in the process, that's 1 activation for 2 basically, and he usually kills more than 2 things in the process of doing that. But like he immediately got 3 wounds on him, and I'm like, oh well, this is very much like cunning play, get punched to death by a full Black Sun unit, immediately die territory. So I had to play a lot more cagey with him than I would have liked, and I probably just played too cagey with him, because I think
you also kind of like, instead of, you didn't min max, you kind of like chose the middle path.
Well, there was a moment, I think it was turn 4, and basically there was several things to this. The first is simply that, like, from top down, I thought that spot he was in was much more line of sight blocked than it was.
It was not.
It was very much not. The edge of the building was like curved, and he got plastered by a Black Sun unit in a way that was totally unnecessary. Like, I could have done multiple things to avoid it. I could have like not pierced that unit he was in the last turn to leave a guy alive. I could have moved him like 1 more time further behind. I could have done a million things to keep him safe in that situation. I didn't. But Lila capitalized on it. She plastered Vader, and then from there it was basically like, how many units can I run away with before they die to these full Black Sun shots? And the answer was not enough, apparently.
Yep.
So yeah, those things. Also, there was this perception, I think, afterwards, that some of the like attack rolls and stuff were like crazy high. Like, Black Sun just hit really hard. That's what they do.
Yep.
Their average hits is at range 2 is 7.
Yep.
I was talking to Lucas about it, and on the stream, he said everyone in chat was like, "Whoa, look at all that paint!" And then he started doing the math in his head. He goes, "Oh no, they've just been rolling average the last couple rolls," and everyone was like, "Wait, what?" And then they were, they were like doing the math, going, "Uh-oh." Like
Yeah.
everybody like, "Uh-oh."
And I think in my game plan, like to you know the math, right? But you don't really understand it until you experience it.
Yeah.
And like the first time I got a unit one shot from full to dead, I had this moment where I was like, this plan is not going to work. Like,
Yeah.
I was planning on doing like a fighting withdrawal, basically going over to the other hemmed in zone. And I'm like, man, if every time she attacks me with one of these Black Sun units, I'm going to lose an activation, like this plan is not going to work.
Well, you'd attack and kill a model.
A model. Yeah.
She would kill a
A
squad.
unit. Yeah. Right.
Well, it turns out surging red dice are pretty good. Pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah. And there were like these two little barrels, like in between. There was this firing lane that I was kind of retreating down, and there were these two little barrels. And it was like every shot, it was because all the Black Sun were suppressed after like, round two. It's like heavy cover, heavy cover.
Yeah.
They were like the size of paint pots. It's like these things. I'm like, all right. 5 Black Sun units behind 2 paint pots.
Yeah.
But,
I also got to see her round, like her semifinal game. It was actually really cool to see that because she played a like very like retreat, like she killed 3 models in the whole game and just retreated and won on victory points.
Yeah, that was against really, Andrew, right?
It was against Andrew, and it was really cool to see, like, gives you sort of
in strategy.
The difference in strategy, and like, a player who's able to play, a super aggressive list, but then know when to just like, nope, I just got to get out of here.
Yep.
Well, and is that the game where she only killed 3 models, and at the end of the game she only had 3 wounds left on the board?
3 wounds on the table, and it was each wound was holding a box.
Holding a box.
Oh my god.
Yeah. That was I was walking around with
player.
Oh yeah, fantastic. And it's the old like 1,000 kicks analogy. Better to practice 1 kick 1,000 times than 1,000. And I have actually been I edit AJST writes articles on the UK tournament scene and does recaps. So I edit those articles. And I remember in at least one of those seeing Lila's list and looking at it and thinking like, whoa, like I don't want to deal with that. That sounds horrible. And it was ultimately a great meta call for Blizzard specifically. I think she knocked out like 5 Blizzard players or something like that. Because Blizzard does not have Pierce except for Vader. And Vader's wading into a Cunning Maul with 6 units that throw red dice in melee. Blizzard is also like a fragile mid-range list, basically. Blizzard relies a lot on objectives and on its mobility, and like when the opposing list is just like a slab of beef, basically, that does nothing when you punch it with a speeder bike. Like, all right, I guess I just have to run away and hope to win on objectives, which did not work as my game plan. But yeah, I mean, I made some mistakes. Lila played great. That was round 6 of the tournament, basically. So
that was top 16.
Top 16.
Yeah.
It's like you'd win every game with perfect hindsight, right? I looked back at that game and I'm like, there's like 6 different things I could have done, and any one of those 6 things would have been enough, to squeak out a win. But I'm sure there's like 6 things she could have done too to like, counter those 6 things. And who knows, like you could go down this rabbit hole forever and torture yourself.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling energized. Like I feel like I got to get out there with something besides Blizzard, because hopefully that'll get nerfed. But
it's funny. Someone that didn't even play, I was running the booth and watching a lot, and really, I was feeling real burnt out going into this weekend too. And like, Rachel kept telling me, "Hey, you do this, like go to it," because I'm really siloed out here. We don't have a great scene, and I do have Luke and those guys, but we, it's like we can only get together every like couple months. It's not like I could play every week with people. It's a little bit more difficult out here. But like, so I'm getting a little like burnt out and tired and lonesome, I think, out here. And really, I've been thinking a lot about lists. Like I left like Adepticon going, oh man, I gotta play. I got the itch bad. And I was just like, okay, like when am I playing next? Like when's the next tournament? Because I gotta play. So yeah, I feel you. It's really good.
Yeah. I made like 3 lists on the way home.
Yep.
You talk about mistakes too. Probably the funny. So this has been top 32 game, I think, against Mitch, mediocre Mitch. He's from Australia, and we'd actually he was in the contingent that went to the steakhouse on, I guess that was Thursday night, and we became fast friends. We sort of, I think, engaged a little bit on the Discord in the past, but whatever, get along well. And then we match up, and it's like, well, this feels like a bit of a team kill. But the funniest thing that happened that game, I think it was round 4. I needed dodges on Padme, and I mentally went, okay, I'll play her 1 pip. I got special on the board, get that, whatever. But whatever, brain did a weird thing, put her 2 pip down. Which I totally did not mean to do. And I told him that I'm like, but like I like in a casual game I might ask like I totally meant to do this thing. Would you mind? And I was like, I'm like, nope. Like we're worlds. Like even if you told me that's a problem, I wouldn't do it. Right? I made a mistake. Whatever. It ended up basically saving the game for me because then I ended up playing her 1 pip on the turn 5. And Padme had to just end up stepping on the open. She got shot twice, but she gets Danger Sense 2 off that card. And that Danger Sense 2 saved her 2 wounds, which was the 2 wounds that prevented her from dying to boss shot on turn 6, which will win Mitch the game. So we had a good laugh over the whoops, that actually saved me the game.
Yeah.
So
I'd like to point out that the boy himself, the kid, the man that I've been proclaiming as the best in the world for years and years, he won again. He did it. My boy.
Yep.
My boy.
The old joke, like, and we have a new world champ. No, we don't.
Yeah.
No,
It's the same one.
The world champion's dead. Long live the world champion.
Yeah, exactly. Luke Cook.
Yeah, Mr. Statue of Liberty himself, New York, baby.
The once in future king.
USA.
There was a surprisingly few USA chants this weekend.
Yeah,
I was too focused, I guess. I guess we
did
didn't.
one after Luke won, just because the UK team was trying to talk shit about the 5th trooper. And then I was like, well, Luke's, he's my local scene, so I still win vis-a-vis Luke. He's my adopted son. So USA, I guess. And so I liked, I don't know if they did this on purpose or if Game Uplink did it randomly. But I did like that they matched the UK and the US up in the top 4, so that
I'm sure they can't do that on purpose. That's got to be random.
So that we truly had a world's.
Yeah,
I think we should do that on purpose. Here's because okay, so I was talking to one of the guys from Argentina. So like in tennis, right? They were having matches, and it would always be Argentina. There was like a match or two where, like, the top 8 were all Argentina. So like no matter what, Argentina was winning. So it wasn't really like a world's thing. So they actually started pairing up.
It doesn't seem fair to the Argentinians,
multiple
though.
People, well, you still go to the top. It's just,
Yeah.
I don't think they should all make it. I think,
they should if they're the best ones, though.
I mean, Jay controls the software, so I guess he can.
That is false. I do not control the software. I am the sales and marketing person of that.
Pitch guy.
Yeah, I am not in control of that. It's like Skynet. It controls itself at this point. No, I did like that. I did. You guys may have a different view on it, but I
like that's how it ended up. I would never want them to force a result like that.
Yes, it when randomly happens, great. It shouldn't be forced.
I think it should. I disagree.
Yep.
Comment, as I'm sure you will, on this about how Jay's wrong. So go for it. Guess what? I don't care. I drink your tears.
Yeah. Do you have the mug, Jay?
I don't. I actually was drinking out of it all day today. And
okay, that'd be perfect.
I just put it to be washed, but no.
I got Jay a mug that says, "These are the tears of my staff." So
my youngest son saw it and he goes, "Is that true?" And I go, "He's 12," and I said, "Which part? Like it's filled with their tears?" He goes, "No, do you make them sad?" I go, "Yeah, all the time." And he goes, "Oh, does that make you a good boss or a bad boss?" I go, "I mean, the business is doing pretty good, so good boss, I think." Yeah,
Yeah, so Luke Cook took it home again.
Yeah, buddy.
And this time the other countries can't claim that it wasn't the world championship and that he's only like the US
No,
champion. So
I rescind. Well, I still complained about the last one. I rescind my complaints about this one.
Yeah.
I
was with you guys on that one. Like I understood that.
I get it. Yeah, made total sense. But
Mhm.
it turns out USA is still the best. So
Yeah.
I mean I mean you may have won of it at the end of the day, but the top 8 was pretty international.
It was very international top 8.
Lot of talking I heard there, but USA is still number 1.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a great joke in our internal Discord because everyone was posting their phone numbers before the event, and of course the US players were posting it like without the country code. And one of the international players was like, "What's your country code?" And I'm like, "You don't need to post it. Everyone knows USA is number 1." Which is the country code for the United States, by the way.
And Canada too. We just piggyback on it.
That's right. Right in the
America's hat.
Yep.
Whatever you say.
Yeah. So meta wise, it kind of played out more or less as expected. 6 of the top 8 were Empire.
Yeah.
Which I think was actually more than what I think we had said like 4.
We said like 4 or 5.
We called top 4. So when we said 4, we said 1 Blizzard, 1 Dark Trooper, and 2
1 Double Bounty or something.
Yeah, something else. Yeah.
I think I specifically said Double Bounty.
I think I might have said Rebels and Shadow Collective. So I lost on the Rebels part.
Yeah.
But, and that was not the Shadow Collective. I thought, not to say that I called that at all. That was not the one I thought was going to make it. I thought it was going to be that 6 Pike Mall list because that thing's nasty too.
Which I think is still very nasty.
Yeah, I hate that list. I hate that list so much.
I didn't even see anyone playing that. Did you?
I didn't see anyone playing that.
Oh god, what's his? I'm so sorry, I forgot your name. Is it Mike or Matt or something? But he played it at he beat me at
Michael Smith?
Nova?
1, 2, 3.
I can't help you, Jay.
PAX. I played him at PAX. I could go back and look, but I'm too.
Okay.
I see someone with a bunch of pikes and maul here.
I mean, I'm sure it was played. There were 128 people.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Anyway,
sorry, man. He literally came over the booth and sat down in the booth. I'm so sorry. So sorry. I'm so bad with names.
Well, and so many people like introduce themselves,
all the time. Yeah.
Yep.
Faces, got it. Like if I've
great
seen
that we
your
have
face.
Yeah, for sure. And it's great that we have such a like social community.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's just keep saying the rest of the podcast. I like that.
Definitely.
Yep.
Definitely.
It'd be like King of the Hill. Yep. No, it was 6 of the top 8 Empire. I think 4 of them were Blizzard.
Yep.
One was AJST's Remnant with double Dark Troopers. The other was Luke Cook's Double Bounty. And then you had Lila Claire with her 6 Black Sun thing. And then what am I missing? Tim.
Me.
Yeah.
Nobody important. It's fine. Yeah. Keep going.
Oh, there you go. Best Republic.
Best Republic. Finally.
The awards were so funny because going into game 4, they were basically like, and we're going to give out the best of faction medals for everyone except Empire.
Yep.
And then this was Griffin's idea, which I think is hilarious. There was like a it's always like a fun idea to have like a prize for like the worst finisher. And Griffin put together, it was a Blizzard Force box, a Dark Trooper box, and a Stormtrooper upgrade pack so that they could run HRUs. And that was the prize for the worst record.
I also became the villain because the faction prizes were a couple of boxes of your choice of not your faction. And in that pile of stuff, there was only one box that I don't already own. And it was this one, the Dark Trooper box.
Oh, nice. And Boosk.
Yeah.
I actually own a box already, so he will go into my local prize pool.
Okay, there you go. The Dark Trooper box. I gotta fix mine. I took it as a sign. Actually, I went to paint them the weekend before, and both the frag launchers, which are very top heavy, by the way, fell off the little plate
top heavy
that I was taking out to do my airbrushing with, and they immediately like shattered in places that will be difficult to glue. I'm gonna have to pin them
Yeah.
And I will be pinning them because I'm going to play them if they don't get nerfed. Yeah, I was like, I'm not dealing with pinning them. I was planning on probably playing Blizzard anyway, so I'm just not going to paint them this week, and we'll figure it out later.
They like at that tournament was the first time I seen like a lot of their models, and it was like they are really weirdly proportioned.
I think they are. I think they look awesome.
They look cool, amazing.
I think they're one of my favorite minis actually that AMG has done. But yeah, they are definitely like very top heavy. They've been doing a lot of pull-ups.
In my game against Mitch, we were sort of on like his side had this sort of starfighter, and it was sort of like one of those things where like flat top and then sort of two sides that are a little bit like maybe 20 degrees or whatever. And he spent an amazing amount of time trying to balance the dark troopers on those slopes.
Even with, I mean, you got to use washers or something, but even with that, it's still.
Yeah, I mean, I put coins under all mine because a Canadian nickel fits perfectly in a Legion base. But
there you go.
Yeah, I will be certainly doing that for Dark Troopers because they are real top heavy.
You guys got any other like high level takeaways? Low level takeaways?
I would say I was thoroughly impressed with the amount of money, time, and effort Asmodee put into that.
Yes.
For all the competitive scene. It was amazing.
Not just Legion.
Yeah, nope. X-Wing, Armada, MCP, like it was full on. They had an OP booth again. They had these great like corners around the play areas with the logos. They were very active. They I know they went on the professional casual stream a bunch of times. Like they were super active in the whole thing, and I think they did a great job. And I'll say Shatterpoint demos were on point. Like getting in there, doing the demos, like was amazing. It was really fun. I thought they had a great show, and I was really impressed by the effort and time they put into the community and everything. And I would say based on the releases, I know it seemed like they weren't really like doing much for Legion there for a while, but man, based on what I'm seeing and what they have coming out and what they did, the OP structure they have coming and what they did at Worlds, I think they might have just needed to get their footing, and now they're back on top of it.
The sort of rejuvenation we sort of all feel, plus the like announcement of an OP structure is quite the 1-2 combo that feels great.
Yeah. I know we said we'd do previews next week, but let's just real quick talk about the OP structure because I think that's super relevant and exciting. Basically, there will be Worlds will be at Adepticon again next year.
Yep.
Right? They did confirm that.
Yep.
So it will be essentially like a year-long season, and there will be
starting May 4th.
Starting May 4th. Seems appropriate.
Yep.
There will be store kits.
It seems brilliant. Like, this is what we should be doing this whole time.
Yeah,
exactly.
Agreed.
There will be store kits that stores can purchase, and those will have. I don't think they said how many invites. If it's anything like previous, it'll be probably like one.
Someone was telling me, though I don't know who and I don't know what their source was, but it was that
perfect
for like every 16 players there was an additional invite. So if you hosted a like 32-person event, like store event, there might be now again, this is off the top of my head from a very quick conversation I had. But if that's true, that sounds reasonable and good. But it's at least one world invite for the store kit.
Yeah, because then in theory, I guess it depends on whether you'd have to get all the way to 32 or if if you had 20 players, you'd have 2 invites. But in theory, that means you could run a 3-round tournament and not have to do tie breaks on undefeateds to hand out the invite.
That sounds like the reason that'd be the reason you'd do it, right? Is that your top bracket would all get their invites, you wouldn't have tiebreakers.
Right. But that would mean you'd potentially need 2 invites for 17 or more players. So it depends on how they do it, I guess. But I mean, that's great. And then there's also, in addition to those store kits, there will be what they're calling regionals, which my impression is those are essentially like convention level tournaments.
Yep.
And I don't think that they've said either how many invites will be at those, but at least one of said invites, if there's more than one, who knows? But there will be at least one invite at each of those regionals that carries with it some number of buys for the World Championship.
Well, I think they said like a bonus or advantage. That isn't even necessarily buys. It could be
okay.
like
I'm trying to think of what else it could be.
Well,
besides
I
a
mean,
buy, but
just based on the tournament structure, it could mean like you could carry an extra loss or something like on day one.
I
or
see what
something.
you mean.
Right? Like I would assume it'd be buys because that seems like the simplest way to do it. But they could also like I sort of see too easy.
Do you see it being like a round one buy, or do you see it being like day one buy?
Probably be a round buy. I mean, it also could be that like they might have a like, you know, like this year there's a giant LCQ, and it might be that like, you know, you like the invite could even just be to like they could be wanting to do like even longer Worlds tournament, right? And like this year's LCQ could be the like store level
Which you get
invites.
invited to,
Yeah, and then the like if you get one of those premium vibes, you could be the sort of basically world invite as if you were this year, right? Where you go into that day two, sort of like.
It's all good, whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole bunch of different ways they could do it, but I don't. They didn't specify
They didn't
what
specifically
exactly.
say what it would be. Okay.
Yeah.
At
least as far as like I was at the announcement thing, and I sort of took that out in my head of like I didn't hear exactly what the bonus was, but there's a bunch of different things they could do. But probably the simplest is like a one or two round buy on whatever the first day of the tournament is.
Okay. Yeah. Either way, some kind of extra bonus for winning a regional. It does not appear. I'm assuming they would have said this. This does not look like they're covering travel expenses anymore for those or any other tournament win.
They didn't say anything about that.
I do not blame them.
I don't either. I was frankly very impressed that they honored all of the previous FFG winners of whatever they called them at the time, Grand Championships, and then carried that format through to their nationals over the course of the pandemics and over the course of 4 years. They put up a lot of people.
They flew a lot.
Which I mean, many probably tens of thousands of dollars to cover all the travel expenses.
Well, I mean, they flew at least one or two people from Australia.
Yep.
Right, like even them alone would be not cheap.
Yeah, so I don't blame them at all. No. I thought that was neat. I never frankly expected it, but yeah, this makes sense too. And weirdly, I think personally, I would almost rather have, as a person that travels often to Chicago anyway, maybe this is a bit of my personal bias, but I would rather have something like a buy or something like that than travel expenses covered. But
I mean, or just more swag, right? If no travel meant, every kit came with an extra alt art, I think most people would be on board with that, right?
I don't know about that. But...
Well, I mean, for those who don't expect to win big tournaments.
Okay, that's fair.
I don't know. More stuff for most people. It sounds great too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Either way, I am not surprised, and I certainly don't blame them for not doing travel expenses anymore. So it makes perfect sense to me. Yeah. But it's exciting. Like I'm feeling energized. It's kind of weird after 4 years to have like the pressure of needing to earn an invite again.
Yeah.
It's like
here we go.
Yeah. It's like I have to go win an invite before I can go to Chicago in 2024. This is different feeling.
Yeah.
So
let the road begin in like 2 weeks.
It is strange.
A month roughly, right? May the 4th.
Oh wait, what are we at? Oh, we're at the end of March.
It's
not even April yet.
You know what?
It's like a month and a week, dog. It's like
it's like 2 weeks after when I can start thinking about life again when my exams are over.
Yeah, I think for as much shit as we've given them, rightfully so, for some of their stuff, they really pulled out all the stops for this, and I was very excited to see what they did. And they did great. They did a great job there, and Adepticon too, right? Like Adepticon was a lot of that as well. So like it was just great.
One of the fun community things too, because they had like a bunch of those red and white clear dice, and near the end of the tournament, they just decided to take one of the open boxes and empty it, and like all the like international people who got less of those dice, they just handed them out to community leaders and be like, go take these home. So I have some dice for my locals who
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Nice.
I haven't yet decided if I'm gonna keep them in the prize pool or I'll probably give a couple
Or
to
keep
everyone.
them for myself.
No,
right?
no. I'm overflowing with those dice already, but
Yeah.
I'll probably
The
give
rich
everyone
keep getting richer.
give everyone a couple and then hold some in reserve for prizes. But
Yeah. I'm excited. I mean, yeah, you know what it is? You know what it is, guys? Here's what it is. Since the FFG transition, I have not been this excited about it. Legion. This is the first time I've been this excited about Legion since FFG was in charge.
I think that's fair. I think I can pinpoint sometimes. Maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, think about it. I mean, for
I-
me, this is me personally. I haven't been this excited about Legion since FFG was in charge.
I do think for me the excitement is contingent upon some kind of anticipated balance pass before the season starts.
yeah,
Here's my
but-
thing. Hear me out. Hear me out. This is going to sound crazy. With everything that they announced, I don't think it's needed.
well, we could spend an hour on this.
Yeah, maybe we save this for a future episode.
Because okay, we can next week. We'll touch on this, but
Okay.
here's my theory or thesis that you guys can argue and bat down on the next one. Is that by the time they make these changes, new stuff is already out that kind of messes with it anyways, and so we never go backwards. So like there's
Sure.
there's changes that they've made and nerfed units that now I look at and go, oh, they'd be great now and fine. Like it would be fine right now if Tauntauns had this.
Would standby sharing be fine?
Now? No, I'll give you that one. That's the one. That one was real rough. But no, I mean like some of the other stuff. Like that's a whole like
I don't think Pikes would be fine either if they
that's
were
a whole
they were original cheaper
faction.
cost.
That's a whole faction thing, right?
My like the list that is written to the top over the last
Infinite
couple
range snipers.
small things has been Blizzard. Like they've sort of survived a few different like little metas, and they're the only thing that has. So I think if you take the top off, i.e. Blizzard, I don't have to knock them back even that far, and that is pretty decent, I think. And take Guardian away from Dark Troopers. That's dumb.
Yes, I agree with that. I also think even if they just,
what?
I mean, you know what? I have a lot to say on this topic.
All right, next
I
week.
think we should save it for next week.
That's
All
fair.
right.
Can't wait to hear
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not on next week, nerd. What's for the main scoundrels? You just listen.
He might be actually because Tim was subbing in this week.
Oh shit.
We should check that, Jay, before.
I don't look at the calendar. That's
I haven't.
That's for employees.
No, I don't think it's me next week.
No, it's other Tim Hannon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which isn't confusing at all.
No.
Every single week, when I listen to and it's like not me on and it's Tim, and we got Tim here and I have a like existential crisis of like I don't remember recording this.
Yeah, but here's the thing: you should blame your parents for calling you Tim. Like I don't get mad at the world because my name's Jay. I get mad at my parents for naming me that because it's such a common name.
Whatever.
You wish they'd named you like Marwin.
Yeah, or Gabriel or something like real biblical. You know,
that's not common at all.
Zephaniah.
Abraham.
Boaz.
Yeah, something real.
I can think of some pretty bad biblical names.
Elijah, something, something real good. They gave me a real stupid name.
Nothing wrong with Jay. You're very Jay.
Yeah, I guess I made it that way,
Yeah, that's true. I guess maybe you could be very Zephaniah or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a good one. Nebuchadnezzar or something like that,
Yeah. Not exactly a good guy in the.
No.
Not the most common of baby names, probably for that reason.
Kane.
Besides being
What
really
about
long.
Kane? I could be Kane. He was a good guy, right?
Introduce you to my friend Judas.
Yeah. And this is my son, Judas Iscariot.
Judas Kane Nebuchadnezzar.
We're really straying here. Yeah, Adepticon was great. Everything was great. Thanks to the staff and the stream staff and everybody that showed up, everybody that I met. You were all awesome. Legion community.
Stream game should still be available on Twitch for a little while, and then they'll be on YouTube probably at Yavin Base.
Yeah, go watch me lose 6 activations in 2 turns.
It's quite the experience.
Congrats to Luke Cook.
Yep.
The forever champ, the eternal champ.
The once in future.
Until next year, the once in future champion.
And I'd also like to point out that he won both of his worlds with Boba triple snipers. So
Yep.
2
very different versions of Boba Fett, but yes.
But still, Boba triple snipers in both of them.
Yeah, also it's really funny because before the thing, a common point on his list was like, you don't have any like native impact. Like, what are you gonna do about Dark Troopers? And he's basically like, well, everyone else is taking impact, so I think it'll be all right. Do you know how many Dark Trooper lists he faced?
So dumb.
Zip.
0.
None whatsoever. 0.
Well, as Luke Cook says, Luke, how are you so good at the game? Just roll crits, man. Just roll crits.
Just roll crits.
How are you gonna deal with Dark Troopers? I'm just not gonna face him. Yeah, no, Luke is obviously a very skilled player. And he will be the world champion again for another year. So
yeah,
I don't know where he's got to have like a trophy case at some point. These things are pretty big.
Dude, yeah. Seriously. Well, don't worry. If he does, I'm sure we'll see it from his dad at some point.
That's true. Yeah, he could wear them like shoulder pads, like 40K style, where they have those like basically cathedrals on their backs. Just build like some kind of structure where you've got like a trophy on each shoulder.
He needs like a Legion World Kings outfit that he wears to the next one that's got the trophies on the shoulder pads.
Yeah.
Okay. So speaking of outfits, shout out to whoever it was that didn't catch their name, of the person who had like the fishing hat with like B1s hanging from it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there were a lot of really good outfits.
That was a good that was my like winner insofar as I saw.
There were during the team tournament, there were 2 guys dressed up as like in full Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yep,
which is pretty awesome.
There was also the incredible Empire Rave.
I did not see that one.
Oh, I'm sure there's pictures around, but they had like this whole display board, and it was like I think it was Darth Vader was the DJ with the like marshmallow heads, and then the ATSTs were painted with marshmallow heads, and all the stormtroopers had like marshmallow heads. But like from afar, it looks close enough you don't really notice it. Then you get close, and it's all like rave head marshmallow heads. And then there's like the display board has like speakers and lights, and it's just a bop, and it's amazing.
I think our boy Raccoon Evan went and took a picture with them. I think I just saw it on Facebook or something.
Okay, I'll have to look that up because I'm curious.
It's so good.
There was one table, speaking of lights.
Oh yes.
Real quick before we sign off.
Yeah.
It had like LEDs like built into the table.
Yep. And like in the huts and all the terrain and.
Yeah, and there was like a road that had like LEDs like built into it, but they had like this like moving shimmer effect. It was insane. I've never seen a board like that. So whoever built that board, I don't know who you are, but you did an amazing job.
Wait, was that the gray one?
It was the gray one, yeah.
Oh, that's Jim Martin. That's our boy Jim Martin.
Okay, I was gonna say it's probably Jim Martin, but I don't wanna okay. Jim Martin, that board is amazing.
Yep. And make sure the power supply is big enough next time.
Yeah,
because I think it was he added extra LEDs right before Adepticon, and the power supply he had was not quite adequate.
Not sufficient. It was fully lit up and working when I saw it.
Yeah, so. Well, it wasn't quite because he had to take some of the lights off the.
Okay.
I think the huts or one of the features wasn't lit up that was supposed to light up, but regardless, it looks amazing.
Yeah.
I kind of wish that we could have like turned the lights in the hall off for a second.
I'd love to see it in the dark.
Yeah, I'd love to see that map in the dark.
Well, by the way, if you guys didn't know this, whoever stayed this long for this podcast, but That Theed table that AMG's been doing on their streams, he built that. He built that too.
Oh, really?
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's awesome.
So yeah, Jim Martin is an amazing table artist. And that Scarif table that people have been sharing pictures on, that one's been around for a while, but he did that one as well.
Yep.
Yeah, he is an amazing table artist. He's an amazing artist in general, but his tables are outstanding.
All right. On that note,
Yeah, let's just stop.
Yeah. Got to cut it off somewhere, right?
Oh God, please. It's like my fourth podcast this week, and I'm over it.
Well, next week we'll have lots of balance pass / meta discussion. So be excited for that.
And the releases too, right?
And the releases, yes, which are related to that discussion. So
right. This is how we do it.
Yeah. All right. We are the Notorious Scoundrels. I'm Kyle.
I'm Jay.
And I'm Timbo.
Stay fresh, cheese bags.
Just roll crits.